It's almost surreal to watch how quickly the internet can spin a story out of thin air. This summer, Vanessa Bryant became the target of a wildfire rumor that she was pregnant. Not just pregnant, but supposedly involved with a much younger basketball player. The gossip didn't stay in the shadows of social media threads. It spread so fast that even major outlets picked it up. And to make it more sensational, some claimed her own daughter confronted her about it. Now, when I first saw this, I couldn't help but shake my head. For a woman who has already lived through unimaginable tragedy, losing both her husband, Kobe Bryant, and her daughter Gianna in 2020, this new wave of invasive speculation feels especially cruel. It's not just about her. It's about her daughters, a family trying to heal, and the relentless machine of celebrity gossip that refuses to let them. So where did it all come from? Honestly, from almost nothing. The so-called evidence was nothing more than old photos, angles that some strangers online interpreted as a baby bump. That's all it took. One tweet, one TikTok, one what-if post, and suddenly it was trending. That's the modern cycle. Content comes first, truth comes second. What makes this worse is Vanessa's history. For over 2 decades, she's been under a microscope. Back in 2001, Kobe's parents didn't even show up to their wedding. Cultural clashes and disapproval set the tone early. In 2003, during Kobe's sexual assault case, Vanessa stood by him, even while enduring public humiliation. Remember that massive purple diamond ring worth millions? To many, it became the symbol of an apology. From then on, she was painted in every possible light. The loyal wife, the gold digger, the opportunist. People twisted her image depending on what narrative they wanted to sell. The scrutiny never really stopped. In 2011, she filed for divorce, then called it off in 2013. In between, there were lawsuits. Even a former housekeeper who accused Vanessa of mistreatment claims that were eventually settled. Each time, headlines painted her as difficult, demanding, greedy. The public rarely saw the private reality of a young woman navigating impossible circumstances, always tied to one of the most famous athletes alive. So when the 2025 pregnancy rumors hit, it wasn't just another headline. It was history repeating itself. The difference is Vanessa has evolved. Instead of staying silent, she fired back. On June 1st, she posted on Instagram stories, not with a carefully written press release, but with humor. A meme of Rihanna floating in water, flipping the middle finger, captioned, "Me protecting my peace. Not pregnant and having fun all summer." That's not just denial, that's strategy. By choosing humor, she took control of the narrative. She refused to look defensive. She refused to dignify the rumor with an essay. Instead, she laughed at it, and the internet laughed with her. Immediately, the tone shifted. People praised her for standing her ground, for protecting her peace, for not letting gossip dictate her reality. But let's be real, it still hurts. Because even if Vanessa is strong enough to clap back, her kids shouldn't have to see their mother dragged through headlines like this. Natalia, now in her early 20s, understands exactly how damaging these stories can be. Bianca and Capri are younger, but they still sense the tension. That's the part no one thinks about. How gossip ricochets through a family that's already been through so much. And here's my take. This isn't just about Vanessa Bryant. This is about how society treats women, especially women tied to powerful men. We act like their private lives belong to us. We dissect their bodies for signs of pregnancy. We speculate about their relationships. And when they finally speak out, even their denial becomes another headline. It's a cycle that doesn't end. Vanessa's response worked because it was authentic. She used humor. She used cultural references. She showed she doesn't owe us her pain or her explanations. And yet, the fact that she had to respond at all shows the impossible standard placed on her. What I admire most is how she's managed to balance it all, honoring Kobe and Gianna's legacies through the Mamba and Mambacita Foundation, while also fiercely protecting her daughter's privacy. That's not easy. She could have disappeared from the public eye, but she didn't. She chose to keep their legacy alive while still setting boundaries. The 2025 pregnancy rumors, in the end, revealed less about Vanessa and more about us. About how desperate we are for drama. About how quickly we buy into speculation. And about how easily we forget that behind the gossip is a woman, a mother, and a family still healing. So the next time another rumor surfaces, whether it's about Vanessa or any other public figure, maybe the better question isn't, is it true? But why do we even feel entitled to know? Because if Vanessa Bryant has shown us anything, it's that protecting your peace is the ultimate power move. Vanessa Bryant has always treated her Instagram account like more than just a social media profile. It's been her sanctuary, a carefully built space where she shares moments of joy with her daughters, honors Kobe and Gianna's memory, and highlights the work of the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation. But make no mistake, every post has clear boundaries. She lets the world see what she chooses, never what strangers feel entitled to know. And that's where her response to the pregnancy rumors took on a deeper meaning. Her clapback wasn't simply about denying gossip. It was about reclaiming her right to privacy. It was a reminder that her body, her choices, and her timeline don't belong to public speculation. Yet behind that bold stance, the stress on her family was very real. We may not have transcripts of conversations in the Bryant household, but it's obvious that this kind of rumor stirs tension. The difference is that Vanessa has always shielded her daughters, making sure they still experience childhood, not headlines. The timing made it even harsher. On the very same day she dismissed the rumors, June 1st, 2025, Vanessa posted videos from Disneyland with Bianca and Capri. Laughter, rides, family selfies. That juxtaposition said everything. The gossip might be loud, but her priority is giving her daughters a normal, happy life. That ability to celebrate joy in the face of noise showed the resilience that defines the Bryant family. Natalia, now 22, likely felt it more directly. She has always understood her father's legacy, even calling him the MVP of girl dads, and she knows the cost of public life. For her, seeing her mother forced to address speculation wasn't just about gossip. It was about the constant challenge of keeping their healing process separate from the world's obsession. And that's the tightrope the family keeps walking, balancing public legacy with private survival. They attend games, continue their charity work, celebrate milestones, but they do it while guarding their peace. For Bianca and Capri, still just children, the rumors may not fully register, but the emotional climate around their mother certainly does. That's why Vanessa's consistency, Disneyland trips, family traditions, everyday fun, matters so much. It protects their innocence. The bigger issue here goes beyond the Bryants. Society has a disturbing pattern. Widows of famous men often become targets for speculation. Who are they dating? Are they moving on? Are they pregnant? It's as if people can't accept that grief doesn't need an audience. And for Vanessa, who has never even been linked to dating since Kobe's passing, the pregnancy rumors felt like an especially invasive fabrication. The toll of living under constant suspicion is enormous. Vanessa already endured being labeled a gold digger, mocked during Kobe's scandals, and dragged into lawsuits over the years. But in 2025, this wasn't about defending her marriage. It was about defending her peace as a widow and mother. And her weapon of choice was different too. Not silence, not polished statements, but humor. Rien à même, a middle finger, a reminder that she doesn't owe anyone explanations. That shift shows real growth. Earlier in her life, she responded to attacks with restraint or dignified silence. Now, she's asserting boundaries with sharpness, using the same platforms that spread gossip to flip the narrative. It reflects not only her personal evolution, but also her understanding of how to survive in a world where social media dominates perception. But the truth is, no matter how clever the response, the expectations placed on her are impossible. Why should she have to explain whether she's pregnant or not? Why should she have to reassure the public about her romantic life? The fact that her denial itself became major news proves the trap of celebrity culture. Even shutting down a rumor keeps you stuck in the cycle. When the media storm finally slowed, the family was left to deal with the private aftermath. Another violation, another moment of stress, but also another lesson in resilience. They've learned that solidarity and boundaries are their greatest shields, that protecting their inner circle matters more than silencing every critic. And maybe that's the deeper truth of this entire saga. The rumors weren't really the story. The real story is how Vanessa and her daughters keep finding strength in the face of endless intrusion. Their ability to heal publicly and privately, to preserve Kobe and Gianna's legacies while building new memories, is extraordinary. The 2025 pregnancy rumors weren't based on facts, just on misinterpreted photos and reckless speculation. Yet they revealed how fragile privacy is in the digital age, especially for families who live in grief under the spotlight. For Vanessa, the challenge is multiplied. She's both the widow of a legend and the guardian of her children's future. That's a weight most of us can't even imagine. The situation with Kobe's parents, for example, reminds us how layered her struggles are. From cultural clashes to financial disputes, to Joe Bryant's passing in 2024, Vanessa has had to manage family dynamics on top of everything else. Even Kobe admitted years ago he wasn't speaking to his parents. And when Vanessa publicly offered condolences, it carried both respect and regret, showing how complicated those relationships remained. Natalia, stepping into her own spotlight through film studies and public appearances, carries her father's spirit, but also her mother's resilience. Her speech at Kobe's handprint ceremony showed maturity far beyond her years. For her, the balance between legacy and independence will be lifelong. Looking back, the Bryant family has shown a pattern of growth. From Vanessa being dismissed and ridiculed in the past, to now boldly shutting down rumors with memes, there's been an undeniable evolution. Even conflicts like the infamous Karl Malone incident, when Vanessa spoke up about inappropriate behavior and was met with mixed reactions, shaped her into someone unafraid to set boundaries, even when it sparks backlash. That's the Vanessa Bryant we see today. Stronger, sharper, less willing to tolerate nonsense. And when the next rumor inevitably comes, I don't doubt she'll face it the same way. With resilience, with humor, and with an unwavering focus on what matters most, her family. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Vanessa Bryant's 2025 response to those pregnancy rumors feels like the culmination of everything she has learned over 2 decades of living in the public eye. This wasn't just a clever Instagram post. It was the product of years spent figuring out how to protect her children, shield her family's healing process, and still maintain the public responsibilities tied to Kobe's legacy. Her choice to use humor, memes, and pop culture references wasn't accidental. It showed a modern, sophisticated understanding of how narratives are shaped online. Instead of playing defense, she flipped the script. And in doing so, she demonstrated that even in the age of endless speculation, she can still own her story. But to really understand why this moment mattered, you have to look at the layers of complexity surrounding her life. Legal battles and family disputes have followed Vanessa for years, from the 2009 lawsuit by a housekeeper to her own mother's shocking lawsuit in 2020 to 2021 after Kobe's death. Sophia Urbita Lane accused her daughter of fraud, claimed unpaid wages as a nanny and personal assistant, and insisted Kobe had promised financial support. The case was eventually settled, but it was a brutal reminder that even family ties can be ripped open when fame and money are involved. For Vanessa, these public fights added pressure to a period that was already defined by grief and survival. That's why her current approach feels so deliberate. She's had to learn vigilance, strategy, and balance. If you look closely at the patterns, 3 themes stand out. First, she's always prioritized protecting her youngest children, keeping them away from unnecessary exposure while still letting them celebrate Kobe's memory at important public moments. Second, there's been a clear shift toward assertiveness. No longer silent, no longer overly cautious, but setting boundaries with confidence. And third, she's mastered the art of controlling the narrative, making sure that her family story is told on her terms. You could see this evolution most clearly at Kobe's statue unveiling. Standing before the crowd, Vanessa reminded everyone that Kobe himself had chosen the pose. And in her words, if anyone has issues with it, tough, she showed a new level of strength. No more endless justifications. No more apologies for decisions that belong to her and her family. That same fire came through again when she clapped back at the pregnancy rumors with the Rihanna meme. It's the same voice, the same attitude, unbothered, unapologetic, unwilling to let gossip dictate her reality. The fascination with the Bryant family's private life says more about society than it does about them. We treat celebrities like public property. We expect access to their grief, their bodies, their choices. And when the stories aren't scandalous enough, we invent them. That's what makes Vanessa's pregnancy rumor episode so revealing. Not about her, but about how the culture we live in feeds on speculation at the expense of humanity. Yet, despite the chaos, the Bryant family continues to show resilience. They still appear at public events. They still share positive family moments. They still keep Kobe and Gianna's legacy alive through their foundation. And they do it while maintaining strict privacy around the things that truly matter. That balance between service and survival, between visibility and protection, is incredibly rare. In many ways, it's a model for how public figures might navigate the impossible expectations placed on them. What this whole saga ultimately proves is that Vanessa and her daughters have found their formula: humor, speed, and boundaries. They don't let rumors fester. They don't let outsiders dictate their narrative. They protect their peace first, and everything else comes second. That's how they've managed to turn speculation into a fleeting headline instead of a defining wound. So yes, the 2025 pregnancy rumors made noise. Yes, they trended. But in the end, the story wasn't about whether Vanessa Bryant was pregnant. The real story was about resilience, about dignity, about a family that refuses to be broken by gossip, no matter how invasive it gets. And as they continue to move forward, honoring Kobe and Gianna while carving out new futures, one truth stands above the noise. Protecting their peace and their children will always be the priority. But let me throw the question back at you. What do you think? Have these rumors gone too far? Have we reached the point where curiosity has crossed into cruelty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation says a lot about us too.